Alright, this is a walkthrough guide for the effects of stress, anxiety and arousal on sports performance, assignment 2. So first of all, here's the criteria. You've got to describe stress and anxiety and their causes, symptoms and effects on sports performance. And then you have to describe 3 theories of arousal and the effects of performance, and then explain the 3 theories of arousal and the effects on sports performance. So if we go down into the task, first thing you do, what I would do is make these subheadings. So first of all, I go, what is stress? And then I'd put my response, so stress is such and such. Then I would go on to this and I'd put another subheading, types of stress, eustress and distress. What is eustress? What is distress? Maybe an example that links to them. So eustress could be where you're put under pressure with a penalty and therefore you feel the stress, but actually you respond effectively to that stress and score the penalty. Okay, and do the same with distress. Causes of stress, so you look at internal, external, personal, occupational, sports environment causes, describe some of them causes in detail and maybe provide some examples of some of them. Then look at the symptoms. So cognitive stress is stress that's worry with your mind, and somatic stress is physiological, or your awareness of physiological responses to stress, and behavioural is how your behaviour changes in relation to stress, so you become angry, short-tempered, etc. And then finally, provide some detail on this. Okay, so the effects of stress on performance. So how does stress affect sports performance? Provide examples. You might want to talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system and the responses that they give you to certain sports situations. And you can even talk about actually loss of confidence and concentration within sports situations, and maybe link sporting examples to that. On this bit, okay, similar process. So subheading, what is anxiety? Subheading, and then describe this is what anxiety is. Then you talk about the 2 types of anxiety, state and trait anxiety. What are they? Then you look at the causes of anxiety. So what causes anxiety, the negative effects of stress. So we did that in class. There's lots of things that would cause that, so you need to give a list of some of them and then maybe describe some and give examples of them. Symptoms of stress, we cover this in lesson again. So we cover cognitive and somatic. Cognitive being the mind, the worry, the concentration, and focus. Somatic being your perception of physiological responses. So my heart's racing, actually when you become aware of that, it increases. In addition, some of these symptoms of anxiety is behavioural again. So behavioural would be the changes in your behaviour because you become anxious. So you look really nervous and worried. You're not able to respond. Your communication it becomes flawed because you're so anxious. Those are the behaviour changes that take place. Maybe you become short-tempered again as well. And then finally, look at the effects on performance. So how does anxiety affect performance? So it's a negative mental state. How does that affect performance? How does loss of confidence affect performance? How does decreased expectations of success affect performance? And then fear of failure, how does that, if you're fearing failure, how does that affect performance? And throughout this, you must make sure that you provide some sporting specific examples, whether they are elite sports performers or something that you've experienced yourself within your own teams outside of college or within the academies at college. Okay, next, task 2, this is about arousal. So this document needs you to outline 3 arousal theories. So first of all, first part, again, like you did in the previous ones, subheading, what is arousal? Arousal is da-da-da-da. Okay, and you provide that. Then you've got to cover 3 theories. So there are 4 here, and you pick 3 of them. So drive theory, inverted U and catastrophe theory, and if you want to, the individual zones of optimal functioning. So you pick 3 of those. You describe them in detail. What are they? What does the theory say? You then look at the effects in relation to the theories on sports performance. So you link sports examples to them. You think about how arousal affects sports performance and link it back to the theories. Then if you're going for the merit, you consider and explain the flaws with each of the theories. So if we talk about the drive theory very quickly, we said the drive theory, as arousal increases, so does performance. Okay, but we said actually that's not necessarily true, because there is a certain point where you can become over-aroused and actually performance declines. So there is a flaw with that theory, and you need to apply the same process with the others. Then it wants you to outline why arousal has an effect on sports performance, consider both positive and negative effects, and you can link again this back to here. So as arousal increases, yes, it can improve performance, and you get to an optimum zone. And if you stay in that optimum zone, this theory says that you're going to be performing at your maximum. However, if you fall off that optimum zone, this theory says that there's a sudden dramatic decline, and if there's a sudden dramatic decline of your performance, therefore you're going to start to fail in your performance, and it might be a dramatic failure where you get a red card and there's no coming back from it, and that would relate to catastrophe, and you could link that to Steven Gerrard's red card. Finally, match the theories to the sport-specific examples, which we started doing a minute ago, so you can continue to link them examples and explain examples in relation to the theories above here and how they link. Okay, hopefully that's been of help, and I will upload it to YouTube now.